The government's controversial power to carry out forced cremations, however unlikely this may arise in practice during the coronavirus emergency, is contained in the Coronavirus Act 2020, Section 58, Schedule 28, Part 4. This is a community legal education presentation. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel and be the first to watch our groundbreaking series of YouTube legal video explainers on the emergency coronavirus laws. The government's power to force cremations in particular circumstances states, in carrying out functions under this schedule, local authorities and the appropriate national authorities must have regard to the desirability of disposing of a dead person's body or other remains. A. In accordance with the person's wishes, if known, or B. Otherwise in a way that appears consistent with the person's religion or beliefs, if known. The emergency power explicitly disapplies existing laws protecting the deceased's wishes against cremation. It should be noted that this extreme power only applies to those local authorities that have been designated and does not apply to hospitals or the police service. The explanatory notes to the coronavirus bill provide one example where designated local authorities could use the power of forced cremations. It reads, "Personal choice for body disposal will be respected as far as possible. However, only where there is no suitable alternative, for example if safe storage limits were likely to be breached and out-of-area alternatives were not available, the power to direct may be used to direct whether a body is buried or cremated." Not surprisingly, the exceptional power of forced cremations contained under Section 58, Schedule 28 comes with the government issuing a national guidance as to the discharge of duties to which local authorities must have regard to. All the far-reaching powers and measures contained in the Coronavirus Act 2020, including the power of forced cremations, Section 58, Schedule 28, last for 2 years and is reviewed after 6 months. 8 observations are made about the power of forced cremations. 1. During the passage of the bill, in response to concerns raised about this extraordinary power, Penny Mordaunt, government minister, stated, "I see no circumstance, and it certainly would not relate to these powers, in which somebody would be cremated against their wishes. I do not think I can give any more guarantees than that. That is absolutely not the intent of the policy, and it's certainly not anything to do with the practice." 2. However, concerns were raised, despite the government's ministers' assurances, by a number of parliamentarians. Conservative Lord Sheikh stated, "Although I welcome the government's concession, I fear that it may not go far enough, as there is a chance that cremations could occur in exceptional circumstances. I would therefore be grateful if my noble friend, the Minister, could inform your Lordship's House as to whether Her Majesty's Government will give further guarantees to ensure that cremations do not take place against the will of the deceased loved ones in any circumstances. These guarantees are absolutely essential." And concerns were also raised by Yasmin Qureshi, Labour MP. The provisions state that it is desirable for a local authority or public authority to seek the wishes of the deceased person's family or a place of worship if there is no next of kin. Saying that it is desirable to take their views into consideration does not mean that those views will apply if a local authority or public authority decides that a cremation is going to take place under the legislation as it stands. The government could make an amendment to clearly specify that if somebody does not wish to be cremated, they will not be cremated. That is missing from the bill at the moment. 3. No amendment was ever put forward to say, if somebody does not wish to be cremated, they will not be cremated. What is clear is the minister's assurance do not carry the force of law, especially when considering the power to force cremations remained in the bill when it was passed. It would appear therefore the government's objective was achieved to have an overriding power against a person's religious beliefs or wishes against cremation despite calls to the contrary. 4. It appears the reason behind the power of forced cremation was due to resource concerns over capacity to store deceased bodies as per the explanatory notes. 5. Those concerned about the power of forced cremation should consider obtaining national guidance over forced cremations and the circumstances, however remote the particular power may be used. 6. Where in the very unlikely circumstance the power of forced cremation is used under Section 58, Schedule 28, it is probable that this will be subject not only to public scrutiny and severe criticism, but also to judicial review. However, if this mandatory power is used, this may be too late for a person already cremated against his religious beliefs or wishes. 7. The consequences of this forced cremation power will likely be felt by faith-based funeral services to bury the deceased as quickly as possible during any peak of COVID-19 deaths, with concern that storage capacity may be exceeded and the power to designate local authorities could be made. 8. It is important for a person to make a will or express that they do not wish to be cremated. Remember to keep up to date with the current law and guidance issued, as it's changing pretty much every day. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe, please comment, stay healthy, and may the justice be with you.